The Eightfold Yoga Path, briefly explained, also termed technical term Raja Yoga, and made popular by Patanjali. He is claimed to have been between the 5th and the 14th or 15th century, between 500 and the year 1500, somewhere there, different reports and so forth. But he is the one who popularized this, and the current modern day proponent of it is Dr. Deepak Chopra. He's written, I think, over 80 books, right? 90 or 100 books, definitely over 80 books is written, and amazing, pathway. In this video today, I'm going to be describing, that. And for those of you who don't know me, I am Osman, hashtag the blind Muslim yogi. I'm a bio energy healer on a master level with telepathic healing capabilities, specializing in critical care recovery and terminal illnesses, amongst a host of other physiological, psychological, and even spiritual ailments. I'm also an advanced level yoga and meditation teacher, having been teaching this science for almost 50 years and practicing it for almost 50 years and teaching it for now 46 years. And in that time, I've had the amazing opportunity to study under different very advanced masters in this field from different cultures, different schools of thought, from different parts of the globe, from the Far East, the Middle East, the West, and the scientific communities. I, over the time, created my own unique protocols, but adapting them to the 21st century, basically making them faster, easier, quicker, and more time efficient and results oriented, right? So to that effect, now I have students in over 100 countries, and my favorite protocol is my 5-minute yoga and meditation program, which you can download for free by visiting my website yogawellness786.com. And please remember that my therapies are all natural based and not a replacement for medical treatment. So coming back to this Raja Yoga, the eightfold path of yoga, and I decided to give a brief explanation about it, not to go into deep technical details. I didn't memorize the deep technical details, and I didn't want to go over it. I mean, this is available in Google, and there's a lot of books written on it. But the 8 steps are yama, niyama, asan, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, and samadhi. So this has been a major focus in my yoga practice for well over, I'd say, definitely over a decade, possibly 2 decades or three. Because when I started to study yoga, as a child, around 10 years old, I started formal, intensive lessons on the theory and practice of yoga, right? And I saw there's a type of yoga called Raja Yoga. It means in Sanskrit, the king of all yogas. Right? I want to focus on Raja Yoga. I want to do the king of yogas. And it was really a passion of mine from then. So you can say it's been a deep passion of mine for almost 5 decades, right? And but I've been going through it, through all the levels in over the decades and experiencing it in different ways and evolved through, and adapting it through, the various different time cycles through which I lived through because I'm now 57 years old, right? So I've went through multiple time periods, I'm coming from a time where there was no television, right? And of course, there was no mobile phones until I was an adult, right? Even as an adult, there was no mobile phones, right? Until I was like already had children and so forth. When the first time a mobile phone came, into the country where, my home country where I was living at the time. And television came only when I was around 7 years old, right? Before that, we didn't have, and many homes did not have electricity. Right? Fortunately, my home was considered a very modern home. We had electricity, right? And we had water inside the house, and we had a toilet inside the house, right? And a bathroom inside the house. That was like amazing, right? We were in, in Africa, right? Third world country. So I'm coming from that time. Must know how many things changed, right? Computers and uh, Windows 95 came, and that was a major craze. And and then mobiles came, and then smartphones came, and all these things. So I'm coming from many of these things, and the Yama and Niyama that was created by, it was written in something called the Yoga Sutras by someone by the name of Patanjali. So, yes, I mean, he's got a version because I've studied many versions of yoga since, and he's got some shortcomings in his versions, right? Because, I mean, you can't embrace everything. You have to take a part, make a choice, right? So he made a choice and he followed a certain thought philosophy. And there are many philosophies that are opposite to that philosophy, because you get so many things. So there's no right and wrong, right? That who knows what is right and wrong? It's just that different paths appeal to different people, right? But this generally would be appealing in some ways to the modern era, but then came Buddhist system, which became more appealing because it got no concept of God in it, zero. But the Eightfold Path has got a concept of God, right? So coming back to it, why I wanted to create this brief explanation is I found some horrendous explanation by very well respected yoga teachers from India, right? I'm watching YouTube, and very knowledgeable, and did many formulated like 50 courses and so forth, right? And in the prime area of the the foothills of the Himalayan mountains in Rishikesh and so forth, and very prominent, well respected, but totally hogwash and nonsense they're talking, right? Because they don't know, right? So let me debunk this thing. So the first two, Yama and Niyama. Yama is things like prescriptions and prohibitions. Yama is your prescriptions, things that are recommended according to Patanjali, his idea of what is ethical, and this is 15, at least 500 years ago, right? So it's not going to be relevant to this day, right? People say, yeah, a lot of it, I disagree completely. Life is completely different now, right? So what he prescribed, if you go into it, like don't cheat, don't lie, and it's like this is for the caveman people, right? That uh, we are in an evolved society. We know, it's like you're teaching baby class things. So sometimes when I speak to my daughter and I say certain things, she says, "Duh, who doesn't know that?" You know it, but you still do the mistakes, right? So we can't go treating children like, I mean, people like children, right? Teaching them stuff. Even children these days don't want to be taught that type of stuff. They are very woke, right? Society is like, now it's called a woke society. So so the Yama and Niyama parts, there are prescriptions and this thing, but there are some important things that is worthy of note. The two things is, one is religiosity and the other one is they call brahmacharya. It's not celibacy, but includes elements of celibacy or restraint, right? But doesn't mean you have to become a monk. But there are certain periods you have to observe, um, uh, like periods of restraint, right? And of course, in we wouldn't say don't engage in promiscuity and so forth, but get into meaningful relationships, right? Where it is not just casual relationships, right? So of course it takes time. You have to start a relationship of casually, and but not just bed hopping, and going crazy, uh, trying to satisfy yourself, your urges by just sleeping around is dangerous as well, right? From illnesses point of view, right? But let me not dictate your morals, right? But let me come to the crux of brahmacharya, right? The charya is like someone who is like a practitioner of, right? One who practices this, right? Or is a member of, right? Acharya, right? Brahma is like Brahman, right? Godly, or um, uh, like Brahma, right? The creator of the universe, we'll say the Deva. We won't say gods and goddesses, because it's a wrong translation into English. There's no gods and goddesses in Sanskrit language. It is, from what I've studied, it is devas and devis, right? There is a god, but when they're referring to the what we call gods and goddesses, this is not the god. There's only one supreme Brahman, one God, which is beyond the concept of the mind, right? In the Hindu religion, right? There isn't multiple gods and all that. They're just a mistranslation of it. So brahmacharya, it is you not controlled by lust, where you got control over your lust. But in the beginning, you are body conscious and you're not yet beyond. When you reach advanced levels, you restrain and learn the art of transmutation of your sexual energy. So, this is why you learn yoga. A proper yoga teacher will teach you how to transmute your sexual energy, because if you don't give release to your built up, sexual tension and stress, you you're gonna go crazy in your head. You have to have it, but if you know how to transmute, so easy, right? One of the, but you need to be spiritually awakened, to be able to do that. And an advanced level yoga meditation teacher will be able to awaken you, and balance your energies and teach you the transmutation process. And you'll feel that same sexual energy drain and transfer and travel up your spine. You feel like a magnetic force traveling up your spine and filling your head. You actually feel that thing, and it starts to feel like a blissful feeling, and you go into a state of initially slight blissfulness, and it increases, and it becomes like a permanent orgasm. Eventually it's 24/7, you in an orgasm state, right? And you can control the intensity with your mind, that you want to go into mind blowing, that you're gonna drop unconscious, and you will drop unconscious, or you control it that you're just there, right? And you're feeling this amazing feeling 24/7. This is brahmacharya, the art of learning how to do this. This is something transcendental on relating to the sexual energy, right? How to do it, right? And this is the one. And the second thing in the yamas and niyamas, which is of important to know, is like belief uh, in a god or religiosity, or studying things about God and about the self and about religious. So you don't have to, in this century, go now and follow a religion or go to church or anything. You can start, there's YouTube videos, right? And see what interests you. Follow that. Maybe people in a Christian environment, you listen to Christian talks, or listen to, spiritual enlightenment talks, or just awareness talks, or mindfulness talks, or just talks on scientific communities, right? Scientific talks, but expanding your knowledge in terms of who you are and how to improve your life, and how to live a better life and so forth, right? So this is very important, but very key is a thing, like, to believe that there is a higher power, right? And you have to know there are other frequencies. So if you go into quantum physics, because let's take it, don't take it from, because the religious angles are very, badly constructed, right? And people, they talk nonsense, and they believe, I believe they belong in an asylum, and they have big ashrams and thousands and tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of followers, and some people got millions of followers, right? And I believe they, believe in I can't believe that they're allowed to say these things, right? And major following, and people are just, and eventually people get tired of it because it's not bringing any result, right? Because bottom line is the result. So, but there are other frequencies. You need to know how to connect with the higher frequencies and protect yourself. because when you're going to go into the spirituality field, Raja Yoga is means you're going to adopt spirituality field. Very important early on, you must find a way how to get protection and go to people who can teach you how to connect with protection for you, and you need to investigate this very well, because once you start going to higher levels, you become a target for the higher frequencies, which will play mischief with you, because there are lower entities, but they are superior to you, so I will call them higher frequencies, but they're termed as lower entities, right, that do not have a body. They need what the humans have, is that energy. When you doing spirituality practice, you are increasing your spiritual energy. You're going to get these things coming, negative energies coming, and invading you, right, or drawing on that energy, and you're going to go through turmoil in your emotions, and you're feeling like this is from you, but it's not. Some of it is from you, we'll say 1% is from you, 99% is from these entities, right? That are coming, and this, they know how to suck your energy from you, right? You need to learn the protection. So the yama and niyama, the two important things you need to, number one, learn how to professionally transmutate your energy, right? Your sexual energy, because this is very important. But before you even do that, you must learn protection first. First, do security measures. And upfront, you probably, if you're interested in this video, it means you're already spiritual, right? And probably you partially awakened already, right? Means you're already a victim, right? Means your first priority is learn protection, right? So get different opinions on this, right? From my perspective, you must be able to transact, with the higher, powerful frequencies, that's going to give you protection, right? It's going to be a contract. You have to do a contractual relationship. There must be a give and take, right? You have to, there's nothing, there is a subscription for everything. In the spirit world also, there's a subscription, not with cash, right? uh, right, there's other ways, right? Spiritual ways. So depending, on the, because I don't want to go into that, right? I'm just going briefly, right? What's yama and niyama, the idea behind it, right? And of course, if you have religions, it's I would say for spirituality is not enough. If you feel you're going to church, or you're a Muslim, you're going to mosque, and you're a Jew or you're a Hindu, and you're going to the temple and you are praying to, my friend, this is not enough. You need high grade protection, right? Because you're going to meet some really high grade entities, right? You're gonna crash. Maybe you may be smooth sailing in the beginning stages, but you're going to reach higher stages. You will crash, you will tumble, your life will become a turmoil, everything will become upside down, right? So this is yama niyama. Then asan is not the yoga postures, and not to sit comfortably. So a lot of people say a little bit of exercise, but what Patanjali, when he wrote it, he meant a, a stable sitting posture, right? English translation. Now, stable for meditation purposes, for now, it's assuming you are spiritually awakened, because you know as brahmachari, you know how to transmute your energy. It means you're spiritually awakened, right? It's the spiritual power is awakened in you, right? So now you're gonna incrementally is gonna increase, and there's gonna be a kundalini awakening. And if that happens, my friend, it doesn't, like, fortunately, if you professionally guided, you learn how to increase it in increments and control it. But if you don't learn, and 99.99% of the people are, the teachers don't know how to teach the students how to incrementally develop the kundalini energy. And they say this is very dangerous, and it's gonna go, things gonna go, of course things go wrong, you're gonna become insane. It's a very powerful, you're not gonna know who you are, if it's gonna go develop it out of control. You need to control it slowly. It's like you can't suddenly open the gateway to the dam, and open everything bang and sand, it'll blow you away, right? You need to like slowly, slowly, slowly open and let it trickle out, trickle, and then slowly, slowly go and gently guide it, right? Like if you go into a performance vehicle for the first time, right? When you drive, for example, the BMW M3, but we're not talking about the Dodge Durango 8 cylinder and all this. We're talking about a actual performance car that's designed for racing, right? Man, is going to be you just touch the accelerator, it's going to go sharp pull to the one side, right? Because it's not a four wheel drive, right? And it's not an all wheel drive. It's normally one of the wheels is only turning, and it automatically makes the other wheel turn. But it's so fast that before the other wheel knows what's happening, it's already pulling to one side. And then to change gears when you push the clutch, it is so hard. It's like heavier than the weight that your leg press machine. It feels heavier than that, right? Because you're doing it and good luck to you if you're gonna drive that car in traffic. But that surge of that power is going to be destabilizing. When I first experienced that this thing, I dropped unconscious. Right? I dropped unconscious. Fortunately, I didn't injure my head or get injured or anything. It depends. You're not going to know where you're falling, and the only thing you're waking up and you're on the floor, right? And and you can't talk and overwhelmed with the bliss. So you have to be in a posture that stabilizes energy. So initially, it's very difficult. Like to sit, even like how I'm sitting now. This is called sukhasana. It's not enough for the meditation experience. This is sukhasana is not enough. You need it's. And I couldn't sit even like this. I only learned to sit like after I turned 50. I think I turned 49, 50 years when I started to practice because I learned to control my Kundalini after that, because I didn't know how to control it. I tried, it took me decades to find the right teacher, and even he didn't know this is, I had to figure it out for myself. And then I now teach my students how to control that energy. So sitting like this is not enough. You have to practice the sitting. It took me 2 years just to be able to sit like this because I couldn't sit like this. I'm used to sitting on chairs, and I used to sit like this and hold this thing, you know, my knees up, and and I'm a Muslim, right? For Ramadan time, we're outside the mosque and we have to sit on the floor, and for breaking the fast. When I was in the Middle East, I just couldn't sit. I have to sit like this and eat like that. But then I trained myself, learned how to sit. So this is not, you have to do either firstly we say Siddhasana, then Padmasana, right? So Siddhasana is, Patanjali explains it, you bring your right heel to your perineum, right? And you can Google, perineum is the part between your anus and your private parts, right? Then your other heel up and drop the leg and put it over, the heel touch over your private parts, and the other heel is there. So it's like nestling your private part between the two. And your legs are locked, right? Feet are locked. So you can Google how to do, Siddhasana. You must be able to be comfortable and practice that, so because when that energy wave, this stabilizes it initially, and then when it goes to the super level, then you sit in Padmasana, and then it further, it like you feel a massive, like you've got a handle on it. It feels like not overpowering. You feel like it got, but it's not this thing. It's just that you channeling it up the spine. The spine is able to handle that type of very high voltage, right? So that's what's actually happening. So in Padmasana, which is like crisscrossing over, just go like that. I don't know if you can see, and you sit and you become comfortable, but it comes automatic as you're advancing in yoga. When you reach the high, when the Kundalini is awakened, already awakened, and the Kundalini is developing to the higher levels. Like now, like it's a little bit tight, but when I'm in that level, when I'm meditating, I don't even have to lift my leg. It like automatically goes. It becomes like rubber. For everyone, this will happen, right? When you go to that level, and it helps you to lock and hold that energy. Otherwise, you're going to fall. You'll fall unconscious. You want to be able to hold that and control that energy. So, asana is referring to that. You must have a stable, not stable, Siddhasana or Padmasana. That's it. Right? I don't know any other posture, and there's thousands of other posture, half Padmasana and all that. What have to you do you will be able to do the full part. Siddhasana is the first step, and Padmasana is the second step, because Siddhasana is easier to get into, and then it'll become very loose. It will loosen over time. So this can take a long time. If you know the shorter way, faster way to develop, if you don't know the faster way, it'll take you decades, right? 50 years is not enough, right? But if you know the shorter way, we can do this in weeks and months, right? It's not uncommon for my students to have an out of body experience. I use the word uncommon, not across the board, not uncommon, means not everyone, not uncommon for people to, tell me that they had an out of body experience within 1 to 2 days, right, of them engaging the advanced levels of yoga and meditation, training under me, which of course is not free, right? The basic levels are always free, and of course I can explain what you can do. Of course, you can do it, the long way, but where I have to use my own energy and so forth, this is it's not me using my energy or charging money. I'm taking your karma, your negative energy, and some heavy stuff. Sometimes I get very sick, right? And it's like life shortening and life threatening as well. It's something very it's a really a very intense process, but it seems very natural. You feel amazing and this thing, but you don't know what happened, in the spirituality field. So coming back to asan, so that's asan, right? So then is pranayama, right? So pranayama is referring to the alternative nostril breathing with retention, right? So you're going to breathe in through the one nostril, hold your this thing, and then breathe out through the other nostril, right? So there's a way how to do it, professional way. I don't want to go. This is not a lesson on pranayama. There are videos on pranayama that I've created, so you can go into that. So it does not refer to annum will. I mean, does not refer to nadi shodhana. Nadi shodhana is just breathing in and breathing out, breathing. No, it's retention and on a certain level. It's an advanced level, and you need spiritual activation for that, which you need to be already activated, because this is very important, and this automatically is the key to safely controlling and handling the spiritual energy. And there is two types of the annulum willum, as well as this another one called Kundalini pranayama. Right? My teacher called it Kundalini pranayama. I don't know the technique. It's a secret pranayama. It's not in the normal books, and it's not even available in YouTube and so forth. But it is what the people commonly term as the Kriya of Yogananda, but not the way he teaches. Is like you have to pull your stomach in and pull it in and pull it up and squeeze your anus and all. I don't do all those things. I teach in a very simple. Just breathe in, push, and breathe out. Right? You have to be spiritually awakened for that, and push your kundalini up manually up the spine, right? So pranayama is referring to these two, the kriya of param, the one that not really his, because he's a little bit complicated. I mean, I'm talking about Paramahamsa Yogananda's kriya, and it's like it's a kriya. I've simplified it, right? And I teach it, it needs spiritual activation. That's what the pranayama is referring to. You have to raise and drop. And then you can go, when you meditate, you can experience the first level. So pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, and samadhi. First level is pratyahara. This is referring to the meditation stages. Now you're ready for meditation. If you can do that advanced level, when you sit to meditate, Pratyahara is the first level. Pratyahara is, they say, the withdrawal of the senses. It's not like withdrawing yourself into a silent place and all that. No, it is you're going to physically feel like your entire body becomes numb from your toe up to your neck. You feel your whole senses withdrawing. You can't feel your body from your neck down. It becomes so calm and relaxed, and the consciousness, you draw it into your head region. So your consciousness is only in this region, and you would learn to draw all your energy, all your prana into your head region, into your udana vibe, right? So this comes automatically when I just hold dhyan mudra, right? I'm feeling it in 2 to 5 seconds, right? You pratyahara. Why? Because we went through the stages. So this is pratyahara. When you can feel that, you go into the theta state, right? So it assuming when you're becoming spiritually awake, it's assuming that you are in an alpha state permanently. In a waking state, you are in alpha, right? So people are permanently in beta state. So alpha state is like you feel very calm and relaxed all the time. When you meet or you speak to me on the phone or something, you'll feel the calmness crossing over. That's the alpha state, right? So even on the phone, I mean, I'm speaking to people on, through, electronic means, right? Internationally, and just by speaking to me, they feel that calmness, and even when I'm sending the energy, they feel it. So that alpha state automatically is there. So you're going into theta automatically. This is pratyahara. Learning to go into theta, it should take you eventually 2 to 5 seconds to go into it, and they use mudras to assist you. That is pratyahara. Only then should you go into dharana, which means fix your focus. That is why you go into meditate, trying to focus. Yes, I'm teaching meditate. I tell you, okay, just relax for 2 minutes and close your eyes, and focus on your observing your breathing. But you're gonna struggle with this for a long time. But when you're in pratyahara, no struggle. Boom, you can focus, and it's there. And then you learn to focus. Your focus will become like a steady flame, right? And there's thousands of ways how to focus. We could focus on a flame, focus on a dot, focus on a picture, focus on a tree, focus on an element, focus on an aspect, focus on love, focus on your breathing, focus on your forehead, focus on your heart, focus on the tip of your nose, focus on so many things you can focus on, right? It becomes absolutely easy. This is dharana, right? Pratyaharana, dharana. Then dhyan comes automatically when you go into silence. When suddenly you feel you don't know how 15 minutes, you only felt you were doing 2 minutes, you open your eyes and look at the clock, 15 minutes went. How did 15 minutes go? You only experienced like 2 or 3 minutes. You went into silence. You went into meditation. You went into the delta frequency. Same frequency as deep sleep, but you're awake and you're sitting, right? But if you put an EEG, electroencephalograph machine, right, connected to an electroencephalograph, it's a flat line. The brain is flatline, same as in deep, but you're sitting. The delta state. This is dhyan, the meditative. So practice usually stable professionally. If you're going to practice like with the Vipassana method, right? It's going to take. I don't do the Vipassana method. I do, my own method, the easier method, the 2 minute method, right? Um, which you can download for free, right? From our website, yogawellness786.com. The 3 minute Hatha Yoga too, because the Hatha Yoga primes you for this, right? Experience. So I'm adding, and this is not taught by Patanjali, right? So he doesn't know everything, right? So we know a little bit more. Not me. I mean, I've learned from my teachers, right? There's so many different schools of thought. Yeah, and then Samadhi, you keep going into the meditation experience, stay longer and longer. One fine day, you'll experience the Samadhi, the Nirvana experience. And the first time, it's called an inner conjunction. It is mind blowing. It is out of this world. It's like uh, you're gonna know you will drop unconscious from it, right? That's how heavy it is. But this is the taste of the Kundalini energy of what it is. And then as you practice, you need to develop your energy body in order to withhold it. You have to study under a professional teacher, right? So this is what these 8 limbs referring to, and adapted to the 21st century is my explanation of what I've given to you, and hope that information helps you. Take care of yourself always.